What if I told you we can transform our uncomfortable, energy-wasting offices into places we actually enjoy working in with one surprisingly simple design trick? The answer might just change how you look at office windows forever.
You know the feeling, right? You're trying to get some work done, but you're either shivering under an air conditioning vent, you're baking in the afternoon sun, or you're fighting that losing battle against the glare on your monitor. It's a universal office struggle.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about our personal comfort. These daily battles we have with the thermostat and the blinds, they actually point to a much, much bigger issue. Our office windows are at the very heart of a massive global energy problem. But what if we could fix this without all the complicated, expensive technology? What if the answer was hiding in plain sight, just using the power of the sun itself? So, to find that solution, we first have to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of the problem. Our modern, glassy offices have created a huge dilemma. 40%. I mean, let that sink in for a second. That's how much of the world's entire primary energy consumption is used by buildings, the very places we live and work in. It's a truly staggering figure. And the thing is, this problem is only getting bigger. Take Iran, for example. In just 2 decades, its primary energy consumption more than doubled. And this isn't just one country's story. It's really a snapshot of a global trend where our demand for energy in buildings is just skyrocketing. And this is so crucial because decisions made right at the beginning, at the design stage, have these enormous, long-lasting consequences. The choice of a window, its size, its placement, can lock in decades of energy bills and comfort levels before anyone even sets foot inside. Okay, but this is where the story gets really interesting. Because the solution isn't about throwing more tech at the problem, it's about this really clever piece of passive design that works with nature, not against it. So let's meet the hero of our story, the light shelf. Now I know it looks deceptively simple. I mean, it's basically just a shelf in a window. But what it does is incredibly smart. And it's a passive system, which means it doesn't need any energy at all to do its job. The real genius here is its 2-part job. On one hand, the shelf blocks that harsh, direct sun that causes all that heat and glare right near the window. But at the exact same time, its reflective top surface bounces this gentle, indirect light up onto the ceiling, illuminating the entire room more deeply and evenly.
But, just slapping a shelf on any old window isn't going to cut it. Like any good recipe, the real magic is in getting all the ingredients and their proportions exactly right.
The researchers, they were facing this really complex balancing act, kind of like baking the perfect cake, right? If you let in too much light from a huge window, you get unbearable heat. That's way too much sugar. But if your shelf is too big, sure, you block the heat, but you lose all that useful light, not enough flour. It's all about finding that perfect equilibrium. And these are the 2 main things they were trying to balance. First, thermal comfort, making sure people actually feel good. Not too hot, not too cold. And then visual comfort, making sure they can see well without that annoying, productivity-killing glare. Essentially, they needed a way to measure both of these very human experiences. So they started playing with the ingredients. They tweaked the window-to-wall ratio. That's basically just how much of the wall is glass. They changed the shelf's length and its height. They experimented with different types of glass, and they even modeled various automated shading strategies. Okay, so finding that perfect combination wasn't just some thought experiment. They had to put these designs through thousands and thousands of rigorous digital tests. 7,500. That's not a typo. To find that perfect recipe, they used powerful computers to simulate a standard office in Tehran, testing 7,500 different design combinations. I mean, talk about an epic search for the ideal window. And they had really clear goals. For temperature, they wanted a design where fewer than 10% of people would feel uncomfortable. That's a metric called PPD. And for the lighting, they were aiming for a glare level so low you wouldn't even notice it. That's measured as DGP. They were hunting for that sweet spot. And wow, the results were dramatic. Just look at this. The initial office design is over here on the left, with these really high levels of discomfort. But the optimized version on the right, it shows a massive drop. Both the thermal issues and the visual glare just plummeted. So just how big was that drop? Well, the numbers are pretty incredible. We're talking a maximum reduction in glare of over 70%. And a drop in thermal discomfort of over 57%. That is a huge, huge improvement in the quality of that workspace.
So this is the really cool part. This isn't just some interesting academic paper. The results give us a practical blueprint that architects and designers can use, like right now, to build better, more comfortable offices.
And here it is. This is the winning recipe for a south-facing office in Tehran. You've got the ideal design, a window that covers 60% of the wall, a light shelf that's 0.4 meters long, and some very specific glass. This is a real, actionable blueprint for architects.
So what are the big takeaways from all this research? Well, first, there's a sweet spot for window size, 40 to 60% of the wall. Turns out, bigger isn't always better. Second, you absolutely need a smart, automated shading system. And finally, this whole strategy works best for south-facing windows, the ones that get blasted by the most intense sun.
And that's really why this all matters so much. This isn't just about saving a few bucks on the energy bill. It's about creating spaces that are actually designed for humans. A comfortable employee is a happier, healthier, and, you guessed it, a more productive employee. So smart design is good for the planet, and it's good for people.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? If a simple, non-mechanical shelf can have such a profound impact on our well-being and our energy use, what other elegant, simple solutions are we overlooking? What else is just waiting to be rediscovered in the buildings we walk past every single day?